Eamon, the point as well about, I suppose, what the job that Rodgers has done in a relatively short space of time, for them to be able to, I know they've lost the game, but to be able to play as well as they've done,
Yep.
you know, to get them to that level when they don't have to be at that level week in, week out in their league.
Yeah, no, with young players as well, some young players, and Belly is very young, you know, and I think he deserves great credit in a very tough group. Barcelona, Manchester City, Mönchengladbach is really tough, and they have been a credit to the club, and I think Rodgers has done a good job there. And they're playing in a vacuum. There's no one else in the league, and it's very, very hard to maintain any standard when you can go out, play averagely, and still be sure of winning. And the 10 points clear now in November, and they've got to push that rock up the hill in a way without getting complacent until May. So it's a curious situation. A one club league at the moment. Rangers will hopefully come back, but I think he deserves great credit, Brendan Rodgers. Celtic has a great tradition, and they're maintaining their great tradition really in
the way he plays attacking football.
Exactly, the way he plays the game, and also I think he's a guy who can bring on young players. Jurgen Klopp has done a really good job at Liverpool, but several of those players came from Brendan Rodgers. Lallana is one example, and there are others.
But he took his time, Eamon, to take another job, Brendan Rodgers, didn't he? He didn't just jump at anything.
No.
And I think his reputation has risen, is enhanced by the way he's played football, by the fact that he got Celtic into at this stage of the Champions League through a difficult time. He had to shape a squad probably in June this year. They had to start very, very early to play competitive football, and they do play really good football, and the signings have hit the mark. The two lads up front are exciting players, and the fans love that kind of football.
And there's a lot more to lose going to Celtic than to win or to gain, because everybody expects you to win the league, and if you don't get in the Champions League, you've been a disappointment, or you've been a failure, which happened to Dela in the last couple of years, where they didn't get in the group stage of the Champions League, and more or less the season was finished before they started, and people didn't really care whether they did win the league or not. So yeah, huge credit to him to come back the way he did, because it didn't really end well at Liverpool. And don't forget, only a few years back he was 2 or 3 games away from winning the Premier League.
Absolutely. So, playing great football as well.
Yeah. And then we would talk about it differently had he won. Obviously there's no ifs and buts in football, but I think he got a team in Liverpool in contention which is nowhere near as good as the team they've got now. And I think he deserves huge credit, because they probably shouldn't have been in a position to win the league. He got them there. Unfortunately, they didn't get over the line. But hugely talented manager. And I agree with Liam. I think his name has risen in the last few weeks and months. And if there becomes a job available in the Premier League, I'm pretty sure people will speak to him.
To look to